Every single night, millions of people pull their curtains shut, twist their deadbolts, and surrender to sleep with one quiet, unspoken prayer: that tomorrow will look exactly like today, that the people they love will still be there, that the world outside their door hasn't changed. But for one family in America, that prayer went unanswered, and the silence that replaced it has lasted for weeks. The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, an 84-year-old mother, grandmother, and the kind of woman who probably had photographs of her grandchildren framed on every wall, has transformed from a missing person report into something far darker, far more calculated, and far more terrifying than anyone was prepared to face. Because this wasn't an accident. This wasn't confusion. This was a hunt, and somewhere out there, the hunter is still breathing free air. What makes this case impossible to look away from isn't just the mystery. It's the relentless, nauseating way the ground keeps shifting. Every time investigators seem to find solid footing, the floor opens beneath them again. First came the surveillance footage. Strange, disorienting, raising more questions than it answered. Then the ransom notes arrived, each word dripping with cold, deliberate cruelty. Then came the internet blackouts, a digital suffocation designed to cut Nancy off from anyone who might have saved her. And just when it felt like the investigation couldn't stretch any further, it did. The face of Nancy Guthrie began appearing on billboards, not just in her hometown, not just in her state, across California, across Texas, across New Mexico. Massive, towering photographs of a missing grandmother plastered along interstate highways that stretch into the American horizon like a silent, desperate scream. In a real criminal investigation, that kind of geographic reach is never accidental. That is a story being told in road signs and state lines, and it is a terrifying one. Then Sheriff Chris Nanos stepped in front of a camera, looked the public directly in the eye, and said the single word that changed everything: targeted. Let that word live in your chest for a moment. Nancy Guthrie was not randomly victimized. She was not collateral damage. She was chosen, specifically, deliberately. And then, as if that revelation wasn't devastating enough, the sheriff went further. He said investigators believe they already know why she was chosen. When law enforcement publicly confirms they understand the motive behind a crime of this scale, they are not simply updating the public. They are sending a message directly to the person responsible. They are saying, "We see you." The comfortable narrative of a random break-in, an opportunistic criminal who stumbled upon an unlocked door, that story is dead. What replaced it is far more sinister. Someone studied Nancy Guthrie. Someone watched her routine, learned her patterns, memorized the rhythms of her quiet street, and waited for the precise moment when she was most exposed. Not a predator acting on impulse, a predator acting on a plan. And that plan, by every available measure, was flawless. Think about what that requires. The neighborhood had to be scouted. Not once, but repeatedly. The patrol schedules of local law enforcement had to be studied and internalized. Every blind spot, every camera angle, every gap in visibility had to be cataloged. This is not the behavior of someone who acts on emotion. This is the behavior of someone who treats violence like a project. Amateurs leave evidence everywhere. They panic, they drop things, they talk to the wrong people. They are usually behind bars before the week is over. But weeks have passed since Nancy Guthrie vanished, and the silence from whoever took her is deafening. That silence is not luck. That silence is discipline. And discipline at this level is perhaps the most chilling detail of this entire case, because it suggests this person has done something like this before. The physics of this crime tell their own story. In the hours between 2 and 5 in the morning, the world essentially ceases to exist. Residential streets become ghost towns. Highway patrol shifts thin out and spread across hundreds of miles. The darkness doesn't just cover movement, it erases it. A vehicle moving through southern Arizona in those hours is virtually invisible. From there, the options are vast and ruthless. West on I-10 into the sprawling, anonymous chaos of California. east on I-10 into the burning emptiness of New Mexico and Texas, or south toward a border that swallows secrets whole. By the time the first 911 call was made, the head start was already insurmountable. Distance is the oldest enemy of justice, and this predator understood that better than most. Now look again at those billboards. California, Texas, New Mexico. Investigators don't spend money and resources blanketing random states with missing person campaigns. Those states were chosen for a reason. Those highways were chosen for a reason. Law enforcement is not casting a net blindly into the ocean. They are dragging it through specific water because they believe they know exactly which direction the current ran. There is a layer to this case that almost no mainstream coverage has dared to touch. The possibility of deliberate diversion, ghost calls, fabricated emergencies phoned into emergency services at the exact moment of a crime, designed to pull patrol units away from a target location before the strike even begins. It hasn't been confirmed, but seasoned investigators know that the absence of mistakes at a crime scene is sometimes its own kind of evidence. It suggests someone who anticipated every countermove before it was made. And in the digital shadows of this case, in the burner phones, the encrypted communications, the carefully erased footprints across every platform, investigators may already be sitting on more than anyone realizes. Walls that feel invisible have a way of closing in very suddenly, and when they do, the space left to run disappears fast. But here is where every theory, every geographic analysis, every forensic thread has to stop and face something raw and irreducible. At the center of this case, beneath every headline, every map, every investigative breakthrough, there is a woman, Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, somebody's mother, somebody's grandmother, a woman whose family has now spent week after agonizing week waking up to a world that contains her absence like an open wound. No answers, no resolution, just silence, and the unbearable weight of not knowing. That is not a narrative detail. That is a human catastrophe unfolding in real time. Cases like this are not solved in police precincts alone. They are broken open by people who remember. A car parked somewhere it shouldn't have been, a face that didn't match the neighborhood, a detail filed away as meaningless that suddenly, in the light of a billboard, doesn't feel meaningless anymore. If Nancy Guthrie was targeted for a specific reason, and law enforcement believes she was, then someone out there knows why. And if the person responsible crossed state lines to disappear, there is someone out there who saw them pass through. The questions that remain are not just for investigators. They are for all of us. What kind of monster hunts an 84-year-old woman with surgical precision and then simply disappears? And where, right now, in this moment, is Nancy Guthrie? Keep talking. Keep sharing. Keep her face in front of the world. Because somewhere in the noise, the answer is already out there, waiting to be heard.